Train your mind now. Discipline it like a soldier. Feed it truth, not noise. Hold it to a higher standard than the world demands. Calmness is not weakness, it is lethal precision. The one who remains calm while others panic sees farther, moves faster, strikes smarter. Remember, circumstances are tests. Your mind is the weapon. Sharpen it. Master it. And when the time comes, it will not shake, it will not break. It will rise. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay dangerous. A man without purpose is a leaf in the wind, tossed, turned, bent by every breeze, broken by every storm. He reacts to life instead of commanding it. He is ruled by emotions because he has no mission to anchor his soul. But the man with definiteness of purpose is immovable. He doesn't flinch when the ground shakes. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He remains calm because he knows where he's going, and nothing, not fear, not failure, not doubt, can stop a man who refuses to be stopped. When you know what you're after, you stop entertaining distraction. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't going where you're going. Emotions become tools, not tyrants. You feel them, but they don't own you. Anger doesn't derail you. Fear doesn't freeze you. Excitement doesn't make you reckless. The mission is too important. You are no longer pulled by every passing emotion because your mind has been given a task, and that task demands discipline. Purpose is not a wish, it's a decision. It's forged in clarity and sustained by will. The man who has chosen his path with absolute clarity cannot be baited into chaos. He walks through noise with silence. He walks through fire without burning. People may question him, but he never questions himself because he has already decided. He doesn't argue with uncertainty, he replaces it with action, and from that moment on, every emotion must submit to his greater goal. Emotion without direction is destruction. It burns energy, time, and potential, but emotion channeled through purpose becomes fuel. A man on a mission turns pain into drive. He turns loss into learning. He turns rejection into refinement. He takes every emotional blow and transforms it into power. Because he knows exactly why he is still standing. He is not moved by how he feels. He is moved by where he is going. And because of that, he is unshakable. People who don't know what they want are ruled by how they feel. They quit when it's hard. They lash out when it's unfair. They spiral when they're hurt. But those who move with a definite aim are steady. Their mind is not a battlefield. It is a command center. Everything that happens around them gets filtered through one question. Does this help or hinder the mission? If it hinders, it is discarded. If it helps, it is embraced. That's the mindset of a builder. That's the mindset of a conqueror. That's the mindset of a calm, relentless force. The world will throw confusion, chaos, temptation, and failure at you. It will press every emotional button. It will try to shake you. But when you have burned your purpose into your mind, nothing can break your focus. You walk forward when others sit down. You stay calm when others panic. You remain strategic when others surrender to emotion. You understand that setbacks are not stop signs, they are tests. And a man who knows his purpose welcomes the test because every test reveals strength that others never tapped into. You don't need to control the world, you need to control yourself. And the only way to truly control yourself is to know why you're doing what you're doing. That why becomes armor. It protects your energy, it protects your time, it protects your mind from collapse. When you wake up with fire in your chest and a clear direction in your eyes, nothing outside of you has the power to destroy what's inside of you. The mind no longer flutters, it focuses. The heart no longer races in fear, it beats in rhythm with resolve. You are no longer led by emotion, you lead your emotions, and they follow. Every man is born with emotion, but few are born with purpose, and fewer still choose to define it with such clarity that nothing can steal it from them. The man who does that becomes a rare breed. He does not yell to be heard, he speaks with weight. He does not react, he calculates. He does not retreat, he adjusts. And through it all, he remains calm, not because the path is easy, but because the destination is worth everything. Calmness is not passivity. It is the presence of unshakable control. It is the absence of waste. No wasted movement, no wasted time, no wasted emotion, just direct, focused execution. That level of control can only come from knowing what you are building, knowing why you are building it, and deciding without compromise that nothing will take it from you. Not pain, not doubt, not chaos, not fear, because definiteness of purpose is the steel spine behind every calm decision. It is the flame that doesn't flicker in wind. It is the reason the strongest men in history did not panic when the world crumbled around them. They had already decided. Their minds were not wandering. Their emotions were not running the show. Purpose had taken the throne. And when purpose sits on the throne, fear cannot enter the kingdom. The greatest enemy you will ever face is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Conquer him, and the world bows. Leave him undisciplined, and the world will break you without mercy. The man who cannot command himself is a slave, no matter how much money he has, no matter how many followers he earns, no matter how loud his voice becomes. But the man who masters his mind, his habits, his impulses, he becomes untouchable, not because the world stops testing him, but because he no longer fears the test. Discipline is the sharpest sword in the hands of a focused man. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He creates progress in chaos. When others hesitate, he acts. When others explode, he calculates. While others seek to change their environment, he transforms his response. That is where real power lives. Not in changing what happens, but in commanding how you respond. When the storm hits, the undisciplined man drowns. The mastered man becomes the storm. No circumstance controls you unless you allow it to. It is not the situation that breaks men. It is their lack of preparation. It is their failure to train the mind. It is their addiction to ease. But when a man sets himself on fire with purpose and tempers his emotions with discipline, he becomes a different breed. Pressure doesn't destroy him, it reveals him. Obstacles don't stop him, they sharpen him. Temptation doesn't seduce him, it bores him. Because nothing outside of him is stronger than what he has built inside. Self-mastery is not a luxury. It is the foundation of every victory. If your mind is scattered, your life will be scattered. If your moods lead you, your mission will abandon you. But if you rule your internal world with iron clarity, the external world becomes secondary. You stop reacting to nonsense. You stop chasing approval. You stop needing the world to cooperate with you because you've already made peace with the war inside. And when the inside is won, nothing on the outside can overthrow it. Control of self means control of time, control of energy, control of thought. You no longer waste effort on people who don't matter. You don't get baited by petty drama. You don't waste mornings hitting snooze or evenings chasing dopamine. You wake up with purpose, not panic. You build routines that sharpen you. You destroy excuses before they're even born. You become dangerous, not in noise, but in quiet consistency, because the world cannot break a man who has already broken his own weakness. Weakness doesn't announce itself. It hides in your habits. It hides in your indulgences. It whispers, just this once. It says, you deserve it. But the man who rules himself has heard those lies before, and he silences them with action. He does what must be done even when he doesn't feel like it, especially when he doesn't feel like it, because he understands something most never will. Feelings don't build empires. Discipline does. People waste years waiting for life to get easier, but mastery doesn't wait. Mastery adapts. It doesn't complain about the mountain, it climbs it, one brutal step at a time. It doesn't wait for motivation, it creates it through movement. It doesn't fear pain, it uses pain as a compass. If it hurts, that means you're getting closer. If it burns, that means you're alive. The man who avoids the fire will always be weak, but the man who walks into it with eyes wide open and trains himself to stay calm within it will never be ordinary again. The mastered man doesn't seek comfort, he seeks growth. He doesn't hide from failure, he studies it. He doesn't need applause, he already approves of the man he's becoming. His standard is not based on emotion or mood, his standard is forged from the inside out. And when that kind of man walks into a room, he doesn't have to announce his strength, the room feels it. That's not ego, that's not noise, that's internal authority, earned, not given. You don't rise by controlling others, you rise by controlling yourself. the man who can sit with anger and not act on it, the man who can stand in rejection and not crumble, the man who can delay pleasure for the sake of purpose, that man is a fortress. You can throw life at him, he doesn't flinch. You can give him loss, he learns. You can give him pressure, he thrives. Because his inner world has already been carved by fire, and no storm from the outside can match it. You want to master circumstance? Then master the man within. You want power? Earn it by first commanding your own thoughts. You want peace? Claim it by disciplining your own reactions. You want strength? Build it by winning the war with your excuses. There is no hack. There is no shortcut. It is you versus you every single day. And only one version will survive, the weak one who's comfortable in chaos, or the relentless one who creates order in the middle of it. Reaction is the language of the undisciplined. It is the reflex of those who live at the mercy of emotion and circumstance. But response is the art of the composed, the weapon of the wise, the armor of the focused. The gap between reaction and response is the gap between chaos and control, between regret and power, between weakness and mastery. A man who reacts is owned by the moment. A man who responds owns the moment. The undisciplined man hears a word and explodes, faces pressure and folds, sees a challenge and complains. But the disciplined mind pauses. He breathes, he observes, he calculates, and then, only then, he moves. Not from impulse, but from intention. Not from ego, but from clarity. He doesn't let his emotions make decisions he has to live with. He leads his emotions like a general leads an army, strategically, deliberately, and always in alignment with the mission. Life will hit you, hard, without warning. The ones who rise are not the loudest, not the fastest, not the most aggressive. The ones who rise are those who can remain calm when others fall apart. When people try to provoke you, distract you, insult you, do you react? Do you take the bait? Or do you smile in silence and move forward without wasting energy? Because every reaction costs you time. Every reaction costs you focus. Every reaction steals power and gives it away. A man who cannot control his reactions is a puppet, pulled by the strings of every situation. But the man who responds with purpose has already cut those strings. He does not explain himself to fools. He does not entertain nonsense. He does not let external chaos dictate internal clarity. He lives by his values, not his moods. And because of that, he is dangerous in the best way, composed, measured, precise. You must train yourself to recognize the space between what happens and what you do. That space is your kingdom. That space is your freedom. That space is where real leadership begins. Reaction is automatic. It is primitive. It is what animals do. But you are not a beast. You are a builder, a leader, a force. And forces do not flinch. They move when it's time and not a second sooner. People will try to provoke you. Circumstances will try to rattle you. Your own doubts will rise like storms within. And in those moments, your mind will want to react quick, sharp, emotional. But pause. Let the storm pass. Let the feeling come. And then command your next move with intention. You don't need to swing to show strength. You don't need to yell to make noise. You need only to choose your response with clarity. And that alone will separate you from the masses. Mastery is quiet. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't beg. It doesn't seek validation. It simply acts with precision. And to reach that level, you must train your reactions out of you. Replace them with reflection. Replace them with principle. Replace them with the mindset of a tactician, not a victim of triggers, but a commander of thought. Every time you react out of anger, you hand your power away. Every time you respond with patience, you reinforce control. Every time you lash out, you delay progress. Every time you stay focused, you become more lethal. This is not about being passive. This is about being strategic. Calm is not weakness. It's discipline. It's the ability to hold the line while others fall apart. You want to win? Learn to sit with discomfort without reacting to it. Learn to hear criticism without being defined by it. Learn to be disrespected without feeling the need to prove anything. Learn to stand alone without asking for permission. Because your power does not come from being liked. It comes from being rooted, grounded, immovable. That is what response gives you. Control under fire, a clear mind in the fog, the ability to navigate war without becoming the chaos yourself. Train this into your bones. Practice the pause. Refuse the knee-jerk. Reject the impulse to react. Instead, hold, observe, decide, move. That is strength. That is control. That is the mindset of someone who does not need perfect conditions to operate, because they have already mastered the only battlefield that matters, their own mind. And once you've mastered that, no situation, no person, no loss, no betrayal can own you. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are building in it, moving through it, dominating it. Not by force, but by awareness. Not by noise, but by clarity. Not by chance, but by design. Because you don't give power to moments, you bring power into every moment. Everything in your life began as a thought. Everything you are, everything you have, and everything you experience is the direct result of what you consistently allowed to take root in your mind. Your circumstances are not accidents. They are reflections. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner world. If your thoughts are weak, your reality will be weak. If your thoughts are scattered, your results will be scattered. But if your thoughts are clear, disciplined, and unrelenting, your life will bend to match them. You cannot escape the law of cause and effect. Thoughts are the cause. Conditions are the effect. You are not a victim of life. You are the architect of it. Build chaos in your mind, and chaos will follow you. Build strength in your thoughts, and your reality will start to obey you. This is not a theory. This is a law, and it does not miss. It does not care about your background, your past, or your excuses. It only reflects what you repeatedly dwell on, believe in, and move toward. Weak men try to change their conditions while ignoring the source. They rearrange the effects and wonder why nothing changes. They chase new jobs, new people, new environments, but their inner world stays the same. And so the same patterns return, the same failures repeat, the same frustrations haunt them. Because you cannot plant rotten thoughts and expect fruitful results. You cannot think like a coward and expect to live like a warrior. The world will give back to you exactly what your mind sends out. Your dominant thoughts dictate your direction. Your direction dictates your decisions. Your decisions dictate your reality. This is the chain. Break it at the top and everything below collapses. You can talk about ambition, you can talk about goals, you can talk about change, but if your mind is still filled with doubt, fear, laziness, or entitlement, the rest is just noise. The man who commands his thoughts commands the outcome. It may not come instantly, but it will come. The world cannot ignore the force of a focused, disciplined, and repeated thought. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Every thought is either building your empire or breaking it down. There is no neutral. You are either feeding power or feeding weakness, and most men feed weakness because it's easier. It's easy to believe the lie, easy to assume defeat, easy to accept mediocrity. But the man who stands apart, the man who rises, is the one who starves the thoughts that weaken him and multiply the ones that make him dangerous. The mind is a machine. What you put in, it multiplies. Feed it fear, and you will see risk in every opportunity. Feed it excuses, and you will see obstacles in every direction. But feed it faith, discipline, and certainty, and you will begin to see strategy in every setback, strength in every struggle, and fuel in every failure. This is not motivation, this is mental engineering. And the ones who master it rise, regardless of the circumstances they were born into. You cannot change the past, but you can change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, you change the chain of cause and effect. A new dominant thought creates a new emotion. A new emotion sparks a new habit. A new habit leads to a new result, and a new result starts to reshape your life. But it all begins in the invisible, in silence, in the moments no one sees. When you choose to replace the thoughts that drain you with thoughts that drive you, do not wait for better conditions to think better thoughts. Think better thoughts and better conditions will follow. This is why successful people often seem calm under pressure. It's not because pressure doesn't exist. It's because their minds have been trained to dominate it. They think from the solution, not the problem. They think from the vision, not the noise. They do not allow their thoughts to drift with the wind. They command them like a general commands an army. That is why their results look different. You are not your environment. You are the creator of it. Stop waiting for life to change and start changing what you allow your mind to dwell on. Stop blaming the external and start fixing the internal. Every excuse you make is a signal of thought failure. Every result you hate is a mirror. Look into it, study it, trace it back. You'll find the same thing every time, a thought you tolerated that you should have destroyed. Start thinking like the man you intend to become, not like the man you're trying to escape. Speak like him, walk like him, decide like him. And when you do, conditions will begin to shift. Not because life became easier, but because your thoughts became stronger, and strong thoughts lead to bold action. Bold action reshapes reality, but it starts with what you repeat in the silence of your own mind. You want to change your life? Change what you allow yourself to believe. Nothing moves until your thoughts do, but when they move with intention, everything else will follow. Fear is a liar. Anger is a trap. And together they are the most effective enemies of clarity and direction you will ever face. They do not come to test you. They come to blind you. They come to paralyze action, distort truth, and hijack the mission. When fear grips your mind, vision disappears. When anger takes the wheel, wisdom is gone. If you cannot master these two forces, they will master you, and you will never lead. You will only react, spiral, and regret. The mind clouded with fear sees threats in every corner and loses the ability to take calculated risk. It sees mountains where there are only molehills. It turns hesitation into paralysis. The man ruled by fear talks himself out of every opportunity before it even begins. He sees what might go wrong and forgets what could go right. He builds castles of doubt and chains himself inside them. His dreams stay dreams, not because he lacked the tools, but because fear killed his vision before the first brick was laid. The mind poisoned by anger does not think, it attacks. It burns energy that could have been used to build. It speaks words that destroy trust. It makes decisions that require years to undo. The angry man thinks he's strong, but he is just loud. The angry man thinks he's dominant, but he's just emotional. Anger fools him into believing that aggression is progress, when in reality it is a detour into weakness. It robs him of patience, perspective, and control. It destroys the long term for the satisfaction of the moment. Fear looks like overthinking. It looks like excuses dressed up as logic. It looks like waiting for the right time that never comes. It pretends to protect you, but in truth, it keeps you small. You cannot lead a mission while bowing to fear. You cannot reach the summit while entertaining the voice that says you're not ready. And you cannot create a powerful life while asking fear for permission. You must silence it. Not with empty motivation, but with daily action that proves it wrong. Action is the antidote. The more you move forward in spite of fear, the quieter it becomes. Anger, on the other hand, is a seductive lie. It tells you that you're justified, that you're defending something, that you're standing up for yourself, but it blinds you in the process. It gets you addicted to reaction. It makes you impulsive. You win arguments and lose battles. You speak quickly and regret deeply. And worst of all, you stop seeing clearly. You lose track of the real goal. You chase emotional victories instead of strategic outcomes. You waste time fighting people when you should be building something that makes them irrelevant. You must learn to catch fear before it whispers. You must learn to disarm anger before it explodes. This is not weakness. It is elite-level strength. Any fool can panic. Any fool can lash out. But only the trained mind can remain focused when triggered. Only the trained mind can keep the mission clear when the emotion tries to hijack it. And in that gap between stimulus and response is the space where vision lives. If you let fear or anger fill that space, you'll never lead. You'll never grow. You'll never build anything that lasts. Vision is for those who have clarity. And clarity belongs to the man who controls himself. He does not ignore fear, he challenges it. He does not deny anger, he disciplines it. He uses both as signals, not steering wheels. He knows fear means there is something to prepare for, not run from. He knows anger means there is something to address, but with calm, not chaos. Because the man who keeps his mind clear in the fire becomes a force no one can shake. While others are screaming, he's solving. While others are quitting, he's advancing. You will be betrayed. You will be tested. You will face rejection, pressure, injustice, and you will be tempted to react with fear or fury. But your power lies in what you do next. Do you flinch, or do you lean in? Do you explode, or do you execute? The answer to that question will determine everything. Not just how far you go, but who you become along the way. Stop letting temporary emotions sabotage permanent outcomes. Stop giving power to feelings that only last minutes but can ruin years. Stop mistaking rage for strength and hesitation for wisdom. They are lies, they are thieves. And if you let them drive, they will take everything from you, your focus, your relationships, your results, your future. But if you rise above them, if you keep your mind razor sharp when the fire comes, nothing can stop you. A composed man sees what others miss. A clear mind hears what others ignore. A focused leader builds what others said was impossible, and that is only possible when fear and anger are locked out of the driver's seat. The mission matters more than the mood. The goal matters more than the grudge. The future matters more than the feeling. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be bigger than fear. You don't need to be emotionless. You need to be in control of emotion. That's the difference between the average and the unstoppable. Calm is not passive. Calm is not soft. Calm is not surrender. Calm is a weapon. It is forged in pressure, tempered in chaos, and sharpened in silence. The calm man is not the weakest in the room. He's the most dangerous. Because while others scream, he calculates. While others react, he observes. While others burn themselves out trying to look strong, he conserves energy, chooses his moment, and strikes with precision. True power does not rush. It does not flinch. It does not waste movement. The man who is calm under fire owns the moment. His enemy cannot predict him. His environment cannot shake him. His emotions do not dictate him. He chooses how to respond, when to act, what to ignore, and what to destroy. And that control, that composure is not luck. It's earned, it's trained, it's deliberate. Calm is the result of self-mastery. It comes from doing the work when no one is watching. It comes from facing pressure and standing tall, not just once, but again and again until chaos becomes your classroom. You do not learn in comfort. You learn it in discomfort. You earn it by walking through storms and refusing to become the storms. And once you develop it, it becomes your edge in every arena. Business, war, relationships, leadership, legacy. When people lose their minds, they lose control. When you keep yours, you gain leverage, because the man who keeps his mind sharp when others are drowning in noise has already won before the first move is made. He doesn't play their emotional games. He doesn't chase every distraction. He doesn't swing wildly. He watches. He plans. He holds. And then, only when it's time, he moves. And he makes it count. You will face pressure. You will be tested. You will be attacked, misunderstood, underestimated. The world will try to provoke you, push your buttons, break your rhythm, and in those moments you'll have a choice. React like everyone else, or hold your ground and let calm speak for you. Calm is not about silence. It's about command. It's about knowing you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Because you're locked in. You're clear. You're already decided. Calm does not mean inaction. It means focused action. It means moving without panic. It means choosing response over reaction, strategy over emotion, clarity over chaos. The calm man is not the man who avoids confrontation. He's the man who doesn't flinch when it finds him. He doesn't let the environment choose his behavior. He chooses who he is, no matter what's happening around him. Most people crumble in pressure because they've never practiced being composed. They've never disciplined their thoughts, challenged their emotions, or trained their response. They panic, they lash out, they fold, and then they blame the world. But the calm man doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He builds the habit of control daily. He makes his mind a fortress. He makes his will untouchable. And because of that, chaos becomes an opportunity, not a threat. Calm gives you space to think while others are drowning in emotion. It gives you the upper hand without ever having to raise your voice. It gives you endurance in the moments where others burn out. And the truth is, people respect calm more than rage. They trust it, they follow it, because they know the calm man won't crumble, he won't spiral, he won't destroy everything just to feel powerful for 5 minutes. He plays for the long game, and in the long game, control wins every time. You cannot fake calm, you cannot perform it, you must earn it. You must train your breath under pressure, you must stay grounded in conflict, you must be able to hear insult and still stay on mission. You must let the fire burn around you and not let it inside you. That's the difference between noise and presence, between distraction and discipline, between reaction and dominance. Calm keeps your vision clean when emotion wants to fog the lens. It keeps your energy focused on what matters and nothing else. You don't get pulled into drama. You don't chase validation. You don't feed weakness. You move with intention. You protect your peace. You act with precision. And because of that, you move further than most and faster than expected, not because you rush, but because you never waste motion. The man who owns his calm owns the room. He walks in with nothing to prove. No need to be loud, no need to be noticed. But everything changes when he shows up, because he brings stillness into chaos. He brings direction into confusion. And people can feel it, because true calm is not the absence of power, it's the containment of it. A loaded weapon, locked and ready, but never misfired. Calm is not the goal, it's the requirement. It is the foundation that makes all other power sustainable. Because without calm, confidence becomes arrogance, strength becomes aggression, ambition becomes desperation. But with calm, everything becomes sharper, cleaner, more dangerous. You want to win in life? Start by winning the war inside. Start by holding your mind steady when everything around you screams otherwise. That is the weapon that separates leaders from followers, builders from breakers, and the disciplined from the defeated. Every man is given a mind, but only a few choose to train it. Only a few decide to rule it. And only those few ever rise above the noise, above the fear, above the weakness. The rest stay lost, reacting, complaining, blaming, while the few build, decide, and dominate.